At the end of the year, when it's time to pay taxes, you will see this number in your accounts tab. You will also get this number on your tax form from Amazon. However, many people who I've spoken to on a one-on-one session about Vine are all freaking out because they think this number is what they have to pay their taxes on. Well, in today's video, I'm going to break down exactly how you are to determine how much you to pay federal taxes with this number. Hey, you guys, if you're new here, my name is Shay, and I talk about Amazon Vine, Amazon Influencer, and all other programs I am a part of. Let's get started. Now, I'm going to make this very simple and basic, only dealing with the standard deduction and what your federal income tax rate will be. Now, as you see here, we have two charts. The top chart is the federal income tax rates and brackets, and the bottom chart is the federal standard deduction. Let's start at the top chart. This is how much per the IRS, which changes every year, you must pay in taxes based upon your taxable income. Your taxable income will change depending upon how many deductions you take every single year. This amount, the rates and brackets, will change most likely every single year, so you must make sure you know the current rates and brackets so that you can figure out the exact amount you must utilize to pay your federal taxes. The same is true for the federal standard deduction. This will change most likely every year, and you're able to locate these on the IRS website and other places as well to know how much you're able to deduct from your taxable income to give you a new income amount. I'll explain more. Let's keep going. I've mentioned before, when you are dealing with your Vine taxes, you must pay the big three, which is federal for everyone, state for some of you, and local for some of you. Now, again, I pulled this information from the IRS website to help individuals understand how to calculate their tax rate based upon the tax brackets, right? I'm just throwing in as a scenario, this is a Vine reviewer who received $58,000 as taxable income on their tax return. Now, once you understand looking at the tax bracket, well, if I have $58,000, that means my current tax rate is 22% because any amount at $44,726 up to $95,375 will be taxed at 22%. But it's so much more than that, and I'm going to explain why. I'm about to break this way down step by step, and no mental math is needed. Now, the other option you have of locating your tax bracket is to look on this website here from TurboTax. You have a lot of different calculators on here, but we're going to focus on the tax bracket calculator. Click on Get Started, and you're going to come to this page here. And at the very top, you see in big letters, Tax Bracket Calculator 2023. Make sure it's in the current year you're trying to find that tax rate for, because again, these numbers do change a lot. You want to go to the filing status, pick your right filing status. Then you go to the annual taxable income. You're going to plug in that $58,000 that we have an example. And the marginal tax rate is going to be at 10%. But when you click on calculate, it will update it to be the right amount for you. Now, once you locate the tax bracket, your next important step is to find the standard deduction. And this is what helps us. Now, by all means, you're able to find the deductions on the IRS website, but I love NerdWallet. They have a wonderful articles that makes it so easy to understand. And when you come here, you will see they have the 10 deductions for 2023 and the source of the IRS, which takes you right to the page. Now, before we get into some math, because you got to do math in order to figure out how much you got to pay the federal government, let's see where we are so far. This example is for a Vine Voice who is a single filer with $58,000 of income. The tax rate for $58,000 is 22% in 2023. The standard deduction for 2023 is $13,850 for a single filer. Now we're going to take all that information into our next two calculations, which you're going to be able to find out what is the exact amount or estimated amount that you are to pay the government after you deduct your deduction. And we're keeping this simple, okay? We're only focusing on the standard deduction for an individual who is single. I'm going to show you two ways to do this: the manual route using the calculator. And if you're like, I don't like that, I don't want to do that, then you can go right ahead and check out the next option, which is going to be using a tax calculator online. Now let's begin off with the income. We know that's $58,000, and then we're going to subtract that by their standard deduction. That's $13,850. When you subtract the two numbers, we end up with $44,150. Now you may be wondering, well, if this is my new taxable income, why wouldn't I just do that in the very beginning versus finding my tax bracket off of $58,000? I just wanted to show you guys the complete steps. So for someone who definitely want to know step by step by step, but if you want to say, you know what, I know I have 58K, let me go right ahead and find my standard deduction, subtract the two numbers, and then I'm going to find my tax bracket based upon that new total, which is in our case here, $44,150. Just wanted to give you guys all the options. Now, if you are a visual person like myself, this is how it looks with the rectangle. We have before where we talked about the 58,000, and the after where now we're in the 12% bracket from the 44,725. Again, you can just bypass the before if you wanted to, but I wanted to show you guys exactly from the very toppity top what that looks like coming down to where we are now. All right, now we get into the good stuff. How are you going to do the calculations for the new income of $44,150? For some people, this is where they get mixed up. So listen up. So, right here with the blue rectangle, we have from $0 to $11,000. This is that 10% portion. So, $11,000 times 0.10, you want to make it into a decimal, equals $1,100. So the next portion, which is $11,001, up to 44,725, is 12%. And that is $33,150 times 0.12 equals $3,978. Now, for some people, it's like breaking up that 44,150. It's all about just putting the right amounts inside of the bracket. So if you know the first 0 to 11,000 at 10%, subtract that 11,000 from 44,150 and you get 33,150. If you want to check your work, go to the top, type in 33,150 plus 11,000. It should give you the total of your new income. Now, overall, in the red box, we have that taxes. When you add 3,978 plus 1,100, you have the estimated amount of $5,078. I truly believe that you should know how to do something manually before relying on a online calculator source, right? So knowing how to locate your tax bracket, knowing how to do the calculations on paper with a calculator is way, for me, secure than just saying, well, I went online and did it and it gave me this number. Now we're going to look at a calculator from TurboTax that I will also have linked in the description for you to use if you don't like doing math the regular old way. Now, using the same link we used to find our tax bracket, we're going to go up to use the tax calculator. We're going to be putting the information of our sample fake information from the buying reviewer. They are single. Let's put single here. Next, we're going to put their age. Let's say they're 42 years old. And can they be claimed as a dependent? We want to just say no. Okay. Click continue. It's going to automatically open up the next section. This section is for employees. People do unemployment, and that's not what this person is. They are a Vine voice, which means they are an independent person or they by themselves. We're going to go down here to other income. You're going to scroll down to where it says other income. and you're going to put in the $58,000. Once you hit that continue button, you will see that zero turns into the exact number we did manually. And that's what's awesome. Now, again, we're doing this very simple and easy, okay? But if you wanted to put in other numbers on the side to see how this will work out for you, you can definitely do that. And the number will reflect over there as well accordingly. Now we're going to go over here. Income, 58,000. Deductions, 13,850 was the standard deduction. Taxable income becomes $44,150, which means it brings our tax rate down from 22% to 12%. Now, the overall tax income estimated is $5,078, and that is what we have from our calculator doing it with pen and paper. This is awesome. Again, you have two ways to do it, with calculator or over here. And it tells you your tax bucket 12%, effective tax rate 11.5. I still haven't figured out how do you figure that out, but yeah, that's what that is. So again, this is a great helpful tool that you can utilize throughout the year before tax time comes to know what you could possibly have to pay federal wise. Again, this is not for state, just for federal. So let's sum up our example. We had a fake Vine reviewer who had an ETV value of $58,000. This is also the example the IRS used to help people understand how to use the tax brackets. This person, who we don't know, again, is fake. We're going to say they only are going to have their standard deduction, nothing else. And they are also single. We had to determine their tax bracket. We had to do some math calculations, and we learned two ways to do that: via the calculator and also via an online calculator that does everything for us via TurboTax. At the end, we got the estimated tax payments that Vine reviewer would have to pay for their federal only. I hope you guys like this. I think this is a really cool way for people to feel more in the know when it comes to their taxes and less lost. Any questions? I'm always here. You guys can reach out to me via my bio link in the description link. I have an email and one-on-one. So share, like, and subscribe if you haven't done so. I have more helpful videos coming up for Vine reviewers.